Jeweler reviews, welcome. Right, today we're looking at this YouTube channel by Alec Steeles. He's a blacksmith who works in steel. Maybe that's not his real name. If it is, that's pretty cool. He ended up being a blacksmith. So he's quite an expert metalworker. I've seen his videos in the past. He's like really good at what he makes. But he's a blacksmith. He's not a jeweler, but he did jewellery in the past. So I remember this video, and it's this one, like 14 million views. Let's have a look at this. Let's get to the start. Engagement ring for his fiancée or fiancée. He's not a jeweler, so I was kind of interested to look closely at what he's doing. A big chunk of wax, grinding it down. It's the kind of thing I do. I like that. Any way to speed up the process of whatever stage you're doing. What's going on with this extraction fan helmet thing? Needle files on the shank. A lot of editing. I can't keep up with what he's doing. The edits are all like 1 second long. Okay. Seems to be using very small tools on a massive chunk of wax. I just like big coarse files. I just hack into wax, get it right down to near what I need, and then I'll go down to smoother files. Alright, so he did that quite neatly. Still a big chunk. What was that? Wait, what? Let me see this again. Yeah, it's quite neat and symmetrical, so quite a good job. A massive chunk of wax though, that in gold will be expensive. But he's done a good job. GIA, let's have a look at your diamond. Looks nice and white, cut quite well. So it's an engagement ring, yeah, so he's spending a bit. He's got a lot of equipment, considering he's not a jeweler. He's got the proper optivisor and stuff. Look what... I mean, just that one optivisor probably costs more than all of my tools, including my laptop and camera and editing software, all put together. It's just got one thing, costs more than all of that. So obviously he's doing a casting, and I bet he does the casting himself as well. I bet he's got like proper professional grade casting equipment in his shop. He's just got everything. Like tabletop, lapidary, grinding discs stuff. Come on, just use a buff stick, mate. Let me turn the music down. The editing is doing my eyes in. Just edit every 1 second. The angle changes and we're looking at something else. Why is it making two? There's two rings there now. One's for his fiancée, one's for his girlfriend. Oh no, sorry. Maybe it's a wedding ring for himself. I don't know what's going on. Look at this proper equipment, look. Slow motion, fancy angles. Do you know what? You're doing casting, you can do casting yourself at home with like basic equipment, and casting is such an old technique, it goes back thousands of years, so you can get casting clay and cuttlefish and all this stuff. But if you're doing something that's got to be finished really well, cast really properly for a customer who's paying you good money, just send it to a casting company. I used to always use Merrill in Birmingham for platinum work. They seem to be the best in the UK. They were certainly better than anywhere in London I used. I tried a few and no one was better than Merrill. They don't sponsor me or anything, it's just my experience. All the equipment. I mean, I don't know if he's a proper business or he's just a YouTube channel that's just got loads of subscribers, so he's earning loads of money off it and able to accumulate all this fancy equipment. These are big, heavy rings he's making. Literally, whoever edited this has got the most severe case of ADHD I've ever experienced. It's borderline unwatchable. Look how much it changes. He's doing what we call making a meal of it. There's a lot of unnecessary little filing actions going on. Just get a big coarse file and just go across the side and then buff it with a buff stick. It's used like loads of different tools and techniques and angles, and I mean, I don't know why he made it in wax first. Maybe he's just relying on what he already knows he can do as a blacksmith and the kind of metal work he does. Also, all this high-tech equipment, he's just cutting 4 big heavy claws out of the top of a collet. Maybe his eyesight's bad, he's got glasses on, usually. This looks way over the top for what he's doing. Just put your head closer to the ring and you'll be able to see it in more detail. These file handles are good. I just bought one. I'm just using one now. They're really comfortable and they work really well. I think it's a Velourb file handle. I need to do a new video on putting files into the handles, because I was told by a woodwork, like an ex-woodwork specialist, he's a sort of lapidary expert now as well. He told me how to properly put them on, and I didn't believe the way he told me to do it. Didn't make sense. I can't believe it worked. But I tried it and it works. It's literally like a magic trick. You don't even touch the file blade. That's how weird it is, and you get it into the handle really strongly. It's kind of like a magic trick, so I've got to do a video, because I'm Diamond Mount for the Diamond Mount channel, so I'm going to do another video on that, how to put a file handle on a file, because I'll show you a really funny way to do it. This is really amazing how it works. Right, this is checking the symmetry, massive, like, do you know what, he's used to making like medieval torture weapons. You look at his other videos, this has got a kind of a feel of being like a medieval ring, like you find it like buried under a castle or something. I kind of like it. What he's done quite well. This video is doing my head in. So yeah, diamond burr. He's made it a good size. Like the stone's fitting like correctly. It just looks way, like being a jeweller, my opinion of it, it's just way too heavy and chunky for that relatively small diamond. I know diamonds are expensive, that would have been expensive, GIA, nice quality one. But this ring's just over the top for it. Finesse, delicacy. This ring doesn't have it. Nice close up of a wart there on your finger. Just doing the setting himself, you've got to admire the guy. He has a go, he's willing to try things. His claws are a bit long, and folding them right up to the point they're almost touching over the top of the ring. But whatever. Cutting them back using a proper jeweller's fret saw, so that takes a bit of skill and practice to use those without breaking the blades. The editing is really hurting my brain. Spin that a bit faster, mate. What's that? Probably pressure air. It's like polishing it on the setting tool. Needs more, needs to go back on the Tripoli, polish it a bit harder. Okay, very heavy. Like wearing that is going to be quite a heavy ring. I hope his fiance likes it. No, I don't really have any complaints. It's sort of, I mean, I'm seeing loads of lines here. Sorry, I'm seeing loads of lines here. Just looks a bit wobbly. Just a buff stick. I could sort that out in seconds, and then polishing it on the side with a felt disc would get it really flat and really polished really nicely. This is only like probably 18 karat gold. It's quite a soft metal. Wouldn't take much at all to get this really perfect. Not too late. Would have been easier getting this perfect without the stone in, but you can get like what they call, in the UK we call it a pencil bristle brush. It's just like a little straight bristles coming out the end that you can put in your micromotor or your shaft pendant drill. Shove that in there, and then you can even trim the bristles to get into places. That would clean that up really well, and then get a soft white one. Sometimes I wrap cotton wool around the end, the spindle on a polisher motor, so that just goes to a point. So you just spin cotton wool, a little fluffy bit on the end, and then spin that in there, and that'll brighten it right up. Yeah, see lines. It sort of looks like it's not nicely flat. It's like using all this really high-tech fancy equipment, these weird attachments and grinding cylinder things on the end of his pendant shaft drive handheld polishing motor. It was all kind of the wrong tool to finish the job. Buff stick. Yeah, look, it's not polished nicely there at all. This is all a bit liney. Like he's polishing, putting it on the polishing mop, it's going that way, but only that way. He needed to turn it to polish opposite direction to those lines, and it'll get them out really quickly. But he did the setting himself. He did the setting himself, and the points went for the design of them going to a point, and those points are down on the stone. That's really important. So if they lift up a little bit, they're quite catchy on clothing. They can be scratchy on yourself. If they catch on a hook or a thread on someone's like coat, cardigan, or whatever, it can pull the claw up, and then it gets even more of a point, and then that's more likely to damage the claw further, and also the stone is in danger of coming loose. Looks a little bit tilted up. I think the stone's a little bit tilted. It seems to be a bit heavier there on that side. I mean, it's nearly really good. It would have been easier to finish it nicer, basically, if you made the collet separately from the shank and then just soldered it in. But then I don't know what his mind is. He's making it in a way where like he doesn't have the ability to do a delicate solder like that, putting the collet in a shank, and I don't know, like he's just using what he knows already. So he's made a ring like he makes a sword with some heavy duty equipment. It's alright, I don't have any problems. I mean, I'm impressed, really. I'm being strict on it as a professional jeweller. Like if another jeweller made that and gave it to me, I would say this is not good enough, but a blacksmith made that. Yeah, that's quite impressive.